All right, first up today, our Music City. Milwaukee is home to some phenomenal artists, and most of them hit really hard during this pandemic. It's been almost a year now without live shows, without any touring.
That's right. One of our favorite musicians is Willie Porter, a guy who's known for his electrifying guitar and wry storytelling. And this Saturday, he's performing a live concert to benefit a local organization that helps victims of domestic and sexual violence. We're so happy that you're joining us this morning. Good to see you, Willie.
Hey,
Great to
Willie.
see you too. Good morning. Very
Thanks for
bright lights on the horizon, seeing you too. It's great.
Oh, you as well. We love it when you join us. I mean, it's been a long year for musicians. Talk a little bit about what you've done. I know we checked in with you at one point, but it's been a while.
It's been quite a journey. We've done all kinds of stuff to sort of adapt to it. Musicians are doing, of course, lots and lots of live streaming, but they're also teaching and finding other ways to sort of engage their fans and people who enjoy music and want to study it more. So it's been fruitful in some ways, especially particularly creatively. It's a great time to do a lot of writing and digging into your craft as well. So it's not all a loss.
I'm so happy to hear that there's a silver lining to it in some ways, but I think about the many musicians that we've had the privilege to have on our show, including you, Willie. And I think about, all of these live shows, touring, most of it completely canceled. What do you think are the implications of this pandemic for musicians?
Well, that's a great question. I think coming out of the pandemic will really be very telling about the state of the industry in terms of how many venues still exist, how many people are interested in going to a live show. I think we're going to see a real bump when we finally come out from under the blanket of COVID. But how we adapt and change going forward, how the infrastructure and just the number of venues that we've lost will become much clearer as we go forward. So I'm very hopeful about it, though. I remain very hopeful.
Well, that's good. It's a good place to be, but it's heartbreaking to hear some of that. And I think, so many people, like you said, have had to pivot during this time and just make money for their families, do different things. Do you think that a lot of musicians will just hang it up after this, or will they be able to move forward?
As far as my own peer groups and the people that I talk to, I don't see anybody really wanting to hang it up. I think that everyone is trying to figure out what the next, again, that word adaptation is really key. I think they're trying to figure out how to engage in a different way and what the mix of live performance and streaming really looks like going forward. I don't think streaming is going to go away, and I think it's just going to become a component part of how we survive and engage the audience. So I don't think anyone's going to give it up, especially those who can't do anything else.
Yeah, it's in your blood. I totally get that. And I wonder, you mentioned live streaming. I think now more than ever, musicians like you feel the need to connect with your fans, and fans want that. So I'm wondering, in your opinion, and as you talk to other musicians, what's the best way for us as fans to support the musicians we love?
Well, certainly you can buy their merchandise, go on their websites and see what they're doing. Many of them are, the majority, I would say, are doing live streaming in some context. And so just engaging that, contributing where you can, and, remaining sort of supportive in terms of engagement. So with their social platforms and so forth, just letting them know that you are on their team and support their music going forward, and also support their career objectives. So I think that matters a lot to musicians psychologically right now, certainly.
Well, I know one way we can support you is by supporting the cause you care about. You're doing your annual fundraiser still, and this is for the Advocates of Ozaukee County, and we know you've done this year after year after year. What is it about them that's so important to you to support? Because they do great work.
They do phenomenal work, and I'm so inspired by the board of directors and the people that work at Advocates. They're very selfless, and they're absolutely tireless in trying to reach into the community and help people who are trying to get away from bad relationships of domestic and sexual violence. And it's been 18 years that we've worked together on these concerts, and every chance that I get to do one of these shows, I'm always sort of re-inspired by the work that they do. It's probably the hardest topic for us to engage and talk about, but one of the most vital ones in our communities to really address and speak clearly about and bring hope on this issue. So I'm grateful to work with such great humans.
Good for you, Willie. And I was reading about the organization, and I appreciate the fact that, of course, they promote awareness, which is super positive, but also as part of their mission, it's about safety, it's about the advocacy, it's about justice too, which I think is such a great mission. And I wonder, as you and some of the other special guests that you're going to be performing with, what will people be able to experience on Saturday?
I think they're going to see a great cross section of musical artistry and hear a lot of information that will both be very informative to them about, the nature of this problem and how Advocates addresses it, how much hope they're bringing to the community, but also the stretch, how wide it is. It's not just Ozaukee County. They reach into Waukesha County. They have symbiotic relationships with hospitals and with other counseling facilities to really help people get back on their feet. And the nature of the services they provide are everything from, safety to help with assistance with rent and so forth. It's an extraordinary organization, and the musical artistry is wonderful. Natalia Zuckerman, Carmen Nickerson will be involved as well. Sista Strings are going to be on this. And all the way from England, Mr. Luke Jackson has provided a video. So I'm very, very excited about these artists.
Worthy and important and fun too. It's basically Valentine's Day night because it's Saturday the 13th, which is pretty great. We're out of time, but I gotta know, do you know what song you're starting with?
I think probably Unconditional. It's the one that seems to lock in with how I feel about humans overall. And it seems to tie in really nicely with this show of hope.
Can't wait to watch those fast fingers. Good to see you, Willie.
Great to see you both. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us
today.
Thank you, Willie. You bet. The virtual benefit concert that's featuring Willie Porter and all those special guests is this Saturday, February 13th at 7:30 p.m. A great Valentine's night date, right? The concert will be on Facebook Live. For more information about Advocates of Ozaukee County, just go to their website. It's advocatesofozaki.com.